Okay, perfect. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is April's Empower Hour. We're talking about food and beverage on the farm. I'm Aubriana. I have a business called Black Unicorn Creative, and I am a agritourism hopeful very, very, very soon. Right now, I just travel with my little miniature horse, so I take agritourism to other people. But I'm really happy to facilitate this conversation with our guests who are just in different stages of food and beverage and can really offer some unique perspectives into what that means, how they got there, and what they're looking forward to in the future. So, I want to get our slides up with our guests. Awesome. So, today, we are going to have Miss Karla Ward from Lu Mil Vineyard speaking to us about her food and beverage experience. And we'll also have Nikki Mullen from Vollmer Farm speaking to us about her experience. And then Beverly, she's going to fill in as needed and just give us some additional insight. And please, please, please feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that. If you want to come off mute and ask your question, please feel free to do so. This is a collaborative space, and we just want to make sure everybody is learning and we're meeting you where you are and where you want to be. So let's get our first poll. We're doing something a little new this time. We're doing a poll, so you should see a question pop up on your screen, and it'll say exactly what this slide says. Which best describes your agritourism operation?
So can you only answer one?
Yes,
Oh
they
boy.
they kind of go up. So farm only means, you know what, we don't have it. A grab and go goodness, you just the packaged items, taste of the farm. That means you are, whether you're producing it or you're buying just things for people to eat on site. Destination dining, that's when we start getting into the heavy duty. We've got kitchens, we are having people eat on site, and then farm to table hub, that is our markets, our kitchens, our restaurants. So it kind of goes up in scale, and you just choose which one that best describes you.
We do a lot of
Ready?
these, but not simultaneously, with the exception of the grab and go. So I really
Okay.
don't know how to
Put
answer that.
it in.
Well, choose
You have
the
to hold it back until it go in.
oh, I'm like, there's more people here.
Yes.
I didn't recognize that voice. Choose the most expansive part of your operation. Like if you have a restaurant, don't choose grab and go. Awesome. Let me give it about 10 more seconds. We'll be able to wrap this up and see what our answers are. All right, Marissa, what do we have as far as poll results? Okay, so we have 22. So let me just put this in perspective. We have 12 people on the call right now. We have 22% of those. Hey, Gabriella. We have 22% of people who are only focused just on the farm. There's no food and beverage yet. We have 33% at grab and go and taste of the farm. They're starting to offer a little bit of something. And then we have 11% who have a destination. They have people coming in, sitting down and eating food. So I just wanted to put this poll up to just give us some perspective of where we are. Where is everybody in this food and beverage lane of agritourism? So thank you so much for that. I would love it if Karla, you want to go first to just introduce yourself and
Okay.
tell the people where you are and what your operation is, and then we'll go to Nikki.
Okay. I am with Lu Mil Vineyard, representing the Taylor family. And at Lu Mil Vineyard, we're only closed one day of the year. We have locally sourced grab and go items as well as crackers. Again, and when I say grab and go, I do mean that a kitchen prepared them. Now, believe it or not, we have worked with the local company, and the actual sandwiches can be frozen so that and they have a long shelf life because of being flash frozen and continue to be frozen here. And we just take them out in the morning. And so we do that now. And we have, of course, alcohol-free cider slushies that are our claim to fame, made with our muscadine cider from our muscadine grapes. We offer 100% juices, lots of alcohol-free beverages, and then we also offer a lot of our jarred products that are made at our Divine Foods, where people would buy a pack of crackers, some cheeses, and use our jams or jellies or pickled items as accompaniments to those. Now, that's all the time, 364 days a year. Now, at other times, for specific festivals, we bring in food trucks, and then we even use our largest indoor venue as a catered restaurant from the day after Thanksgiving and through the 23rd of December. So that's what we do.
Awesome.
And at that same time during Christmas, we offer outside in our smaller venues, those become concession areas and that type of thing. So we're doing a lot of different things at different times.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Nikki, you want to share?
Okay, so I am Nikki Mullen with the Vollmer Farm located in Bunn. Just a quick snippet history about that. So my husband and the Vollmers are cousins, and we didn't want the farm to get taken away from the family. So we decided, since his kids didn't want to continue the farm itself, we would take it over. So we do still have the farm in the family, which is a good thing. So I use that as part of like our field trip stuff. But how we got started into the food and beverage is when we purchased the farm, it was only open seasonally. So they only did, well, right before we bought it, they quit doing strawberries in like 2017. And then we bought it in 2020. And then the only thing they had really was the blueberries and what's called their back 40 season, which is their fall fun stuff. And then so we decided, okay, well, we're going to try to see if we can do this thing year round. And we opened up the next year in March. We didn't really have a whole lot of food stuff going on at that time. We did a few sandwiches, and then things just kind of started to grow from there. We ended up going year round. So now we have food year round. We do grab and go. We do lunches to the teachers right here in our local area in Bunn for the middle, high school, and elementary school, so that they can get something other than school lunch or something that they brought from home. And it kind of flows over into some of our other events and stuff. When we have our Blueberry Festival in June, we use our kitchen for that. We make sandwiches. All of our stuff we make here on the farm. Whether it's some pastries, some of our pastries are purchased from like US Foods, but some of them are also, a lot of them have started to become where we make them right here at the farm. So the hope is eventually I'll get that bakery a little bit bigger, but then it goes into some of our other activities too, like our Blueberry Music Festival, our back 40 season, our blueberry season. Of course, we make all of our own ice cream here, and then I make it for a few other places as well. So that's just a little snippet about how we do our food and beverage.
Cool, cool. And Diana, I am so sorry I skipped over you. Would you want to share about your food and beverage experience and where
No,
you're from?
no problem. Sorry, I just came in from the rain, so if I take the hat off, the hair will really look bad. So I'm gonna leave the hat on.
Okay.
For our food and beverage, it's very small. We mainly just do it at our busiest time, which is for us, Christmas. So we kind of fall under, if you will, for Chatham County for concessions. So with regulation wise, we are considered a concession stand. I think you can, I think it's 12 or 15 days. I have to relook at it, that you can be open without getting any further, certifications or testing or anything else done. So that's kind of what we fall under. And typically we run about that. It's 10 to 12 days. So we are right at that mark. Our biggest thing that we actually make and cook, and I know Beverly and their farm has tons of experience with, is the Little Orbits donuts. So we do the mini donuts on the farm. And this past year we were open 10 days for concession, and did right around 2,000 dozen donuts just for that little time. So for us, that's, a lot. Hot chocolate and cider are other two biggest sellers. So we kind of dabbled in making our own mix for hot chocolate. We didn't really want to get into the milk and anything else like that in a concession stand. We're not really a full kitchen, so we really just used the hot water, but we did kind of formulate our own little mix of hot chocolate. So it does contain like some powdered milk and chocolate. And so it comes out pretty good. So we do sell quite a bit of the hot chocolate. We get our cider from Beverly. So we are trying to do fresh cider. We went for a long time using kind of packaged cider, and it's just like wasn't good at all. And then we discovered Beverly and their farm, and we're like, yes. So I think, so basically for that time of year, it's donuts, hot chocolate, and cider is our biggest seller. We have cookies, we've got popcorn, we've got some different things that we'll do also in the concession stand. We'll have sodas and water, but by far those are the three biggest ones. We do have events, and so for events that are during the rest of the year, we'll have just a mix of things. So we'll do some mini donuts for those events. We have slushies, so we'll do some slushies for that with different mixes. So not real big again into food and beverage, and obviously we concentrate more on the Christmas season. That's when most of those folks are coming in, but we do offer some of those things for some of the small events that we do throughout the year with our flowers and stuff like that.
Can you tell people what farm you're at if they're not
Oh,
familiar?
I'm sorry. Jordan Lake Farms. So we're in Apex, North Carolina.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
You're
so
welcome.
the first question that I have, and I want to start with you, Diana, because you are the smaller, not smaller operation, but the smaller food and beverage experience of the three of you. What inspired you to introduce food and beverage to Jordan Lake Christmas Tree Farm?
Well, we did not have concessions when we first, I think folks that came out to the tour, you guys saw pictures of the tent we had out when we first started, and my story about it flying away into the road, and I have to get rid of that. So, but I first started with people coming out saying, gosh, it'd be so fun to have like some cider and hot chocolate kind of thing. The donuts came into play. My husband is a fanatic on the mini donuts when we go to the fair. That's all he wants. And so he kept eyeing that machine and saying, we can do those. And of course, we bought the smallest machine. We went and did that for like the first year. And he's like, no, changing that, going to the big machine. And, it was an instant hit. We actually at first had our neighbor down the road. They already had a donut machine, and we asked her to come a couple of days and just see how it would go. So it was really customers asking for that. And so we started small and then, got bigger, and we just focused really on things that we know we can do. We are looking into other things because folks are here a fair amount of time. They are looking for it's possible that they would stay and, have a meal or picnic or do other things while they're here. We have a playground, so, the parents sitting there and kind of watching. So it's possible to have other food items. It's just us figuring out what those are and trying to still stay small and focus on that. Because like I said, we don't have a full kitchen or anything like that.
Right. And Nikki, I want to go to you. When you kind of joined Vollmer Farm and took it over, was there already that restaurant and market on site, or is that something that you helped cultivate?
So it was on a teeny tiny scale. And I mean, like ham sandwiches, turkey sandwiches, and wraps. And that was about it. So I decided there was this, when I was younger, there was this place that I really enjoyed going when I was in high school. And I know that sounds crazy. But it was right around the corner from our high school. And so we would all gather there after school. And it literally was called the Corner Restaurant. And it was this elderly lady that was in there, and she made the best like fresh sandwiches, chicken salad sandwiches, all different kinds of just like your normal sandwiches. But it wasn't like a Subway sandwich, and it wasn't just like your sandwich from home. It was good, and it was fresh. And so I thought, well, we can do that. And we did that. And so I added on, we did do turkey, ham, clubs. Of course, with my kitchen, so I don't have a grease trap. So I have to do pre-cooked foods until we get our grease trap put in. And so for us right now, I have to source everything that is pre-cooked. So I'm very picky over that because I don't want to add like a lot of foods that's processed, and so that's what I'm trying to stay away from. But you can't get around that with turkey and ham anyway. So, but then of course I have in my wheelhouse Russ and Vanessa, so Vanessa's always giving me tips on different things, and I'm always running stuff by her. And so Heather and I went to Farmer in the Dale on our agritourism trip last year. And of course I fell in love with that place, and I thought, oh, you know what, I can do that. I really need to stop saying that. Heather wishes I would stop saying that. And she's on this call, so she's hearing everything I'm saying. But the thing is that I just wanted to make sure that we could start using stuff from the farm too. So we also grow microgreens. So I incorporated microgreens into as being something we can add to our sandwiches, but also we would have a mixed greens salad or just a straight microgreen salad. And so that kind of so it just kind of evolved. So it went from real little few options to now we have all these different options, and we're constantly working to get away from like the Lay's potato chips and doing more of the homemade chips. And so that's kind of, I'm in the between of that because I do that for our schools. I don't do it for our public people just yet, just because I need a high temp oven or one of those high speed ovens to do those chips fresh. But now the girl that's handling the cafe side of stuff for us, she's working to see, how can we keep them? We can go ahead and make them in the mornings and just keep them fresh. They probably won't last till the next day, but they'll be well enough to get through lunch. And so we just started adding on some of those extra things, like we make chicken pot pies and we freeze those so that they are a grab and go. However, my chicken pot pies are like big as the ones from KFC, and then I'm like, oh well, 2 people can eat that. So they're kind of too big, but depends on how hungry you are. But so we added those foods on, but we kind of keep adding on. And when I started adding on food, it was kind of a really weird time when I did it. I did it 2 Thanksgivings ago, I think, maybe 3, something like that. And I started doing like sides for Thanksgiving. Couldn't do the turkey, of course, because I don't have a grease trap. So we started doing the sides. Well, that actually, I was kind of shocked. I did about $2,500 the first year. And it was all pre-ordered, obviously. I would make a couple of extra things, but I learned that we could make pies and freeze them, and they thawed pretty decently. And so we did a ton of pies. We did a ton of sides. And when I say sides, it literally is like green bean casserole, mac and cheese, I don't know, there's a couple other things. Sweet potato casserole is one of our, because we grow sweet potatoes. And
Right.
so for us, I was trying to promote, some of the stuff that we actually grew as well.
Right.
Just like with the ice cream. So we make all of our ice cream here, and I do make it for a little farms, 2 farm stands, and then Rustic Roots. I make their ice cream for them. They just do vanilla. But I sorry, I lost all train of thought there. Oh, so ice cream. So like I use the blueberries in our ice cream. I make ice cream for another strawberry farm, and I use her strawberries to make my ice cream and her ice cream type of thing. And so I keep trying to find ways to utilize the stuff that we're growing. And so one of the things we do in the summer, because my husband will laugh at you and tell you that I really didn't know what I was talking about when I told him he didn't plant enough squash one year. I was like, you didn't plant enough squash. Y'all have to understand. And it's the same thing I tell my kids on the field trips. I bake things, he grows things. There's reasons for this. And it is simply because I didn't think 20 plants of squash was enough, but apparently it was overkill. So I had to learn real quick, we needed to do something with that stuff. And so we sliced them up and we froze them. And so we sell them frozen, through the summer after they get to the point where we either got to chunk them, cook them, or freeze them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm constantly doing stuff like that to try to utilize what we're growing on the farm, as well as having some fresh options for people. And so it's actually starting to pick up. The sandwiches, the ice cream. We do a sandwich called like a chicken caprese sandwich, which is grilled chicken. Again, I have to look for all those pre-cooked foods that are decent, that don't have a lot of preservatives and stuff in them, because I just don't like doing that stuff. And
Right.
and so it's worked out well. I use locally grown tomatoes, and so everything that we bring in, it has a purpose. I used to feed it to the pigs, and boy, they enjoyed that, but I didn't enjoy feeding it to them.
Right.
So we found ways to do that. And then the other things that I've added in, as well, is because of the field trips and stuff. I decided, okay, well, we're gonna have coffee. We're gonna have coffee options. I grew out of the espresso machine in one season, and realized before we actually got into that fall season that we were going to be hurting if we were going to try to make espresso drinks with a non inline espresso machine, and one that had a very small boiler on it. So I paid for a $8,000 machine in one season, which was great. And but it's helped out with our field trips as well. So because we are in such a rural location, and we do have a coffee shop in Bun now, but because we're in such a rural location, you got all these moms that are coming out here, and they need coffee.
Yes.
So that does really well in the fall, because our spring school tours are just they're kind of iffy right this minute. But then we also in the fall, of course, we have the back 40 stuff. And so our foods and our seasons, they just kind of go hand in hand. And so, but that's kind of where it came from. Like, I literally came with no intention of having to open up like a sandwich shop, but there's things that I want to do with it, but we just aren't there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you shared a lot. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'm just saying, the way that you kind of snowball your what you're experimenting with, and you're like, hey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but also we're gonna try this, we're gonna plant that, we're gonna incorporate this. And I think that's awesome, because we kind of have two different approaches here. We have Diana, who's like, the people wanted something to snack on, and my husband wanted these, and then you're like, I just came in and said we're gonna make sandwiches.
Yeah, we just gonna make
Karla, I want to get to you. How do you decide what kinds of foods to offer at Lu Mil?
Okay. And before I forget it, may I just make one comment about what Nikki just said about having too many squash. Okay. Now, not at Lu Mil Vineyard, but at our other company, we do value added processing. So let's just say that her squash are the best, her freezer is full, and she has to do something with them. She could call us and potentially have us make a squash relish according to her recipe that she would bring back all year long, shelf stable, to offer to her customers, either for sale or as a food service item, to as a side or as a relish on some of her sandwiches and other dishes. Okay, so that I had to just bring that in. When you think about food and watching it rot, that's painful, and there are solutions. Okay, so now ask me that other question.
How do you decide at Lu Mil what kinds of foods and beverages to offer? Obviously, it is a vineyard, so
Yes.
no brainer, but
So we have wine, obviously, that's obvious, or we would not be a vineyard. The thing that is surprising here that I do want to say is we actually have more alcohol-free product to taste than we do wine. So we have something for everyone. Now, the first thing that we have to do, we have to make sure of the shelf life. We don't have a kitchen. We do have a walk up to stand up cooler if something is categorized that can go in there, like offerings of cheeses, dips, that kind of thing. And until recently, we did have a farm to table local catering company who brought in, like, every 3 days, fresh things, from very small charcuterie boards to wraps, sandwiches, salads, that kind of thing. And then unfortunately, they went out of business. Here, we only have a caterer's kitchen. So what we do when there are larger, and we offer the same things like the chips and those kinds of things that would have good dates. One thing that we are currently doing for inside of Lu Mil Vineyard as a specific offering, we have a local baker who is taking our muscadine jelly made with the grapes grown here with local peanut butter and making a signature cookie for us that we are trying to figure out right now how we're going to offer it, when we're going to offer it. She is also doing a Gouda cheese biscuit for us. So that will be a new venture and adventure. Everything prior to now has either been prepackaged with a good shelf life or either brought in on a every 3 to 4 day basis based on what it is. Now, during our Festival of Lights, we do not bring in any outside food, but in our concessions area, again, it's things like chips and cheese dip or nachos, that kind of thing, the slushies. We also do the donuts and do very well with those. And as far as food that is made on site, that kind of thing, that's really what we do. Then, because we learned that we needed to have a dinner meal because people began to travel during our Christmas, our Festival of Lights, so far, and to get here, they were really hungry. And we're in a rural area, and if they came after a certain time, there was nowhere for them to eat. So we bring in a caterer who actually does that. And it's through a system where a couple of food trucks that the public does not see, but then it's served buffet style.
Oh, okay.
Cafeteria style here. And so that works very well for us, and we have done it for a number of years. So we don't have the food headache. We get together and we do have a large input on what that menu will be and ultimately what the cost to the customer will be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, thank
that's
you
kind
for
of what and then when we have what we call our festivals, we have food trucks on site, And then
Right.
different people who make all different kinds of things, but it's not us. It's just here for our customers during those specific events.
Awesome. Awesome. So we've heard like three different approaches to food and beverage. It's, making it on site, having a third party come in, and then utilizing materials from, some of the business and being able to do this concession style food and beverage option and connecting cross A&A to source some of the food and beverages that you have on the farm. So I think that is amazing to see and definitely speaks to the options that agritourism operators have.
I do want to add one thing that I forget the importance of.
Mhm.
We have 12 cabins and 2 guest houses.
Mhm.
And those have larger refrigerators. They have a deep kitchen sink, cabinetry and that kind of thing, but there are no stoves. Now, outside, we do have grills, and we promote our local grocer here, who is a local IGA where they have a real live butcher and things like that. So we do promote that. We cross promote each other in that area. I did want to say that too.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So you're going to see another poll pop up on your screen that just talks about what your biggest goal is for food and beverage on your farm. And we've got a slide here that lists out some of those options. Sorry, yeah, you can only pick one. We're looking for the biggest goal. And we're just curious what those answers are. We'll give you about another 30 seconds. In the meantime, Diane, Nikki wants to know what donut machine you're using. Not the first one, the second one.
Well,
big
it's a little Orbits machine. It's LIL Orbits. Now what model number, I don't know, because we just bought the bigger version from Beverly. Beverly, what's the one we just bought?
Beverly one.
The 2400.
Okay.
All righty. Did we get all right?
I can't figure out where I'm supposed to. I know this is a dumb question, but I can't. Like, where am I supposed to do the poll? Like, I see the
You see
slide.
a pop-up?
No,
Oh, did it go away for you?
Yeah.
maybe I might have been typing.
It's okay. It's all right if you miss it. I don't know how to get it back for you though.
Okay. Well, ours is expanded. Ours is to add and expand alcohol offerings.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put that in for you. I'll add that as your vote on my end. All right, Marissa, can we see those results? All right. All right, so we're trying to get started. We got 8% trying to get started, 25% to enhance the menus, 17% expanding alcohol offerings, increasing the profits, and then just still figuring it out. Just trying to learn and get inspired. Thank y'all so much for doing that. We just want to see what is on everyone's agenda. All right. Woo, okay. Get my questions back up here. So for those of you who do offer the alcohol, whether it be wine, cider, beer, how do you handle the licensing and the education, the service delivery for that type of product? Anyone can go.
Does anyone serve alcohol besides us?
Well, I do. We serve it at the cider house, so yes.
You do? Okay.
Yes. And from our side, we were unique. I mean, we did have to go through quite a bit. You obviously have to go through the ABC board to get that. We pulled beer and wine or unfortified wine. And so we're able to serve that. And for us, that allows us our hard cider under our brand. We bring in a local beer And then we do champagne and we do like wine cocktails. So even though we only do wine, one of our best sellers last fall was our apple cider sangria, because we're an apple cider, meal. And we added that with I believe that was a Pinot Grigio wine, and put in fresh fruit and cinnamon, let it marinate, and it just sold like crazy. So, a lot of license, you have to think about insurance, because alcohol insurance is a different line item. So you do have to be aware of that. We do require anybody that touches alcohol must be Safe Serve Alcohol certified. Now, not required. That's a personal choice for me. We're a venue that you could buy a hard cider, but you could go out and fish on the pond or take a hayride to pick a fruit. I need to know who's drinking and where. And so that was one of our big challenges. And when we started last year, and we're very new, but we started, all of my slushies are in a clear cup, and all of my non-alcoholic options are in a clear cup. And like Karla says, there's such a request for non-alcoholic options. We have an offering of that also. But anything that does not have alcohol, clear cup. If it has alcohol, it is in a colored cup, a transparent colored cup. That way, if they're fishing on the other side of the pond, I should be able, if I see a colored cup, it should correspond with a wristband. So for us, it's just hopefully another layer of serving and being safe about serving. We sure didn't want to do anything wrong. For us, it was not easy to get our permit, because we are in a dry county. So we did have to go a different route, and we had to have actually our event site. It was actually annexed into our local town, which was wet. So 3.1 of my 80 acres is now in the city. And from there, we were able to get our ABC permit. And for the record, I thought this was interesting. They don't care about where you consume it. They care about where you purchase it. So we annexed in both of our buildings so we can sell it, but then we're almost like a social district. So you could go anywhere on the property that's in my name and you can consume that product. So the rules were very strange, but for us, it's been an excellent revenue stream, and we love getting creative with the wine cocktails or the mimosas. They've been easy to theme out. To our Easter bunny one is adorable, and we have a little peep bunny. It's Instagrammable, I guess I would say. So anyway, it's been very good for us.
Awesome. Karla, do you want to share?
And when we too are in a dry county, so we experience very many of those same things. And I will never forget the first time that we just wanted to have a bar set up not very far from our tasting room where a band would be playing. We had to really review how we were licensed to see if we could even do it there. And so actually we had to go in and do some different things too. So she's right. Where you purchase it is a very big deal, and where you live. But I think it's very much worth it. And for us, the simple wine slushy and then some mixed cocktails and mocktails have been extremely successful for us.
Awesome. Awesome. What advice would you all give to someone who is just starting out their food and beverage on the farm? Anyone can go.
We participated with UNCG when they created this whole, really, it was a part of their hospitality, as hospitality and agritourism began to merge more. And we gave advice as an example, but we also participated in all of the classes and the certifications. And you can go online and I'm not certain if that's the name, because it's been so long ago since we helped initiate these things. I don't know if it's the same as the Safe Serve certification, but all of our employees went through this training. And
Mhm.
then we kept that training. They can go on and online and be certified, or if for some reason they don't have time or the opportunity, we can provide that for them one-on-one. And then what we do twice a year, we bring in everybody that helps us year round, and we refresh them about what the laws are, what is the proper way to ask for the ID, are there exceptions, things like that, because now people have their ID on their telephones, they have all kinds of things, and we just go over what is legal and what is not. And here we know that we have been shopped very, very much. And about 6 years ago, I happened to be here, and I'm really not the one here behind the bar very often unless it's something special or we are doing some training. And it was a middle-aged lady with a preteen son, and we were doing the tasting, and she said, do you want to taste this, to her son? And I said, ma'am, he is underage and we're not allowed to serve. And I kept it like that, and I kept going. I was friendly. She came about it another way. And then it was really odd. She approached in multiple ways. Then she actually went out, came back in, had this whole other thing about someone was with her who did not have their ID, but she knew them. Long story short, the woman engaged with me specifically 4 different times. And on the 4th time, she said, well done. And she pulled out her badge. So they are in here. They are out and about. And, just don't be scared. But if you do the right things, and they're really simple,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I would say do it because it does give a great boost to your bottom line.
Right. Right. Nikki, is there any advice you would share?
Me and technology today. So, I mean, yeah, I would just kind of piggyback off of like the whole serve safe thing. I do have, we do go through the serve safe process. Now, I don't send all my teenagers through it simply because it's too many, honestly. They just, because they rotate in and out, like some of them will be here steady for 3 months, and then they've got a sporting thing that they're doing. So most of my staff is teenagers. But I think the one thing that I wish I could do better, and hopefully, in the next few months, I can try to focus on this a little bit better, is to not have, is to be able to keep up with the cost on the back end. Because costs are changing so drastically, when it comes to the stuff that we do make, and even the stuff we don't make. And then making sure whoever is making your stuff is consistent. Because like I walked in today to the cafe, and when we make muffins, my muffins are supposed to be the great big jumbo ones. Well, I walked in today, there's these little bitty ones in there that they had made muffins out of into what is the cupcake size. And so that's kind of frustrating. But just making sure things are consistent, but really being able to keep up with the cost of that, because the food costs can hurt you drastically. As far as the alcohol stuff, we only do the alcohol stuff currently when we are doing some events and stuff. And so ours are typically, one-time special use permits that we utilize somebody that has a nonprofit. And so for me, it's kind of simple that way. But we will be adding alcohol on this year, just trying to get some stuff straightened out for that. But Karla's right. I mean, making sure that whoever is serving that alcohol, the ABC board actually has a slideshow that you can test through certifications. I mean, it's super simple, but at the same time, it's stuff that's repetitive, and people should definitely utilize that, because it will definitely get you in trouble.
May I ask a question of Beverly? Beverly, do you actually, as you offer wine, do you offer flights or tastings? Do you do that?
We do offer tasting. So as far as that, you're welcome to taste anything because I want you to buy what you want. I don't want surprises, but flights I have not figured out because I have to serve everything in a high-end disposable. Because like I said, we're almost a social district. I would be chasing my stuff over 80 acres. So everything we have is a disposable that we're using. So I have not figured out a great flight plan. And then in addition to that, I want to go to what Nikki said for a second. One of our challenges, Nikki, on the food too, is consistency. We are new in the food prep business, and that I want, if you had it great here one time, it should be just the same next time. And to have that expectation. And it's the hardest I find for us when we're extremely busy and you lose that little bit of edge. And so that's something that I'm challenging my kitchen staff with more this year of, our new manager even went as far as to take a picture of what it should look like at the end to put beside what goes on it. And we're trying some different things. So if different people happen to be preparing, we can get the same result.
Yeah, I can totally hit on what you just said because our ice cream, I have not changed the pricing on the ice cream since we started. Now I just went up on it 25 cents. And I don't know that that was really enough, but the thing for us is, and I learned this from Vanessa at the very beginning, is when we dip ice cream, it should be roughly about 5 to 6 ounces of ice cream for a small. And some of them kids, they'll pack that ice cream in that little bitty cup thinking, oh, well, no, it needs to be in there light and fluffy. And that's what I tell them. And so Heather and I actually have bought clay to try to mimic what it should look like. So the picture thing, Heather just texted me, she said, yeah, the picture thing's a good idea. So it is, is it's either that or they're going to have to start weighing the ice cream out. But staff, I think my other piece of advice would be, if you're looking into this, is your staff does not care about your bottom line. I don't care who they are. And I don't mean that in a negative, ugly fashion. I'm just being as real as I possibly can because I came from a distribution background. But they don't care that, oh, and just like I had to get on my kids the other day because they helped me make ice cream. Well, they burnt the pecans that go in the butter pecan because I like to put toasted pecans in the ice cream. And I'm like, girls, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that now? And so now they get it better than the rest of them. But when you make muffins that are this size when they should have been this size, I can't charge $3 for this size muffin.
That's
right. So it's they don't get it. And so I totally am with you on the consistency because I'm kind of a stickler, especially when it comes to stuff like we make our own chicken salad, and that chicken salad has been very special to me for 15 years. And so yeah, that's the biggest thing you have to kind of worry about when you get into food prep.
Well, and what we did too, we narrowed choices like on sizes of things and that kind of thing. That reduces our cost. It helps our people stay consistent and what our costs are on that. We can just, and we tried different things, we tried like slushies, small, medium, and large. Well, we learned that people would buy 2 smalls before they would buy 1 large. So now we buy 1 cup. It's the same clear cup for wine slushies and alcohol-free slushies. And the way that works, the alcohol-free slushies get a regular straw or no straw. And then the wine slushies, in fact, our cup even comes, it's kind of an invisible line of where that wine portion should end. And you pour it there and then top it with the slushy and put in the black swizzle stick. And so we keep our things very easy like that. And I had never even thought people do go all over our property during Christmas and everything, but they can't walk it during Christmas. They can walk up front around. But now all of the time, I've never even thought about that, Beverly, like you said, about the different color container.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I will encourage people to do, we tried it one year during our Lu Mil Vineyard, North Carolina Grape Festival. We did a logoed freezy coolie cup, like a Yeti cup that had our name on it, was a wine one. They bought that one time full for a special price. And during that or our other two things, they get refills for X. And we sell out and have to do more every year. And that's getting our name out there. They feel like they got something special. And then next year we do it again. So they
Yeah,
got to have next year's cup.
that's nice. That's
We
nice.
do the same thing with a mug.
Okay.
But whether they want to, fill it with hot chocolate or hot cider or coffee.
That's a great
But
idea.
then the mug they have, for a special price, like you're saying, and then they come get refills for that season. So.
Better write that down. We do hot chocolate too, and it's a great seller.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriella asks,
One of the recommendations, I think, just real quickly is something a little different is if you're going to build something to house your food, whatever that is, build it bigger than you think.
mhm.
Yes,
Because
that's right.
once you have it's going to be popular. Like everyone has already said that it's well worth it. You'll have crowds. You add donuts, it's a crowd. You add alcohol, it's a crowd. And you have to have employees that can fit in your space and be able to prep what you're prepping. So definitely, if you feel like, oh yeah, this is big enough, build it double the size. I'm just going to tell you now.
I would like to ask Beverly a question,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they're not here, and you better not tell them. But our ownership, we know that our muscadine slushies are special. Our cocktails, mocktails are special. However, do you think basic and old fashioned, like with the hot chocolate or a cider, is still really good? Or do you think that customers, when they come to us for a special experience, are expecting or would be really thrilled with something special, like a special hot chocolate? And if so, because I'm hearing you say you do that, Beverly, how do you do it without getting just all over the place and keeping your, like, I guess if you would
Brand.
share one special drink with us that makes it over the top and wonderful.
Well, I will tell you, seasonal stuff is working for me. And in my mind, who I copy is Starbucks. You
Okay.
think about October 1st, you cannot go anywhere without pumpkins smacking you upside of the face. So for us, we theme to what we hope people are mentally. So, beginning May, you won't hear anything out of me but strawberry donuts, strawberry floats, strawberry slushies, strawberry jam, strawberry breads. We really change up from our decorations to our canned product to our fresh product, even down to what we call perishables, which would be dipped Oreos. Our cookies. We have a great cookie lady. She will theme it to whatever we're doing. So I believe in a theme, and I'm going to carry that to a drink. So my favorite one last Christmas, and maybe Marissa can share somehow in the as this goes out to email everybody. I wanted an interactive drink, and we're champagne based. So we did a mistletoe mimosa and a Grinch mimosa. What was cool about them, though, is they were both in ornaments on top of the glass. So the glass below, disposable glass, would have had cranberries or rosemary. You put your champagne, but your mix was in your ornament. So when you gave it to the guest, it was their job to combine it. And we had a great video as it poured into the glass for the Grinch. We had a decal on this clear glass. So when the green liquid filled up, it finished the Grinch face.
Right.
People want to take a picture of their stuff.
Yeah.
So we took the same theme, and I think Marissa just put that in chat. We took the same thing to our Easter bunny. We used the little Easter peeps and found the best recipe for a mimosa with a pineapple an orange juice combo for the juice, and then a little grenadine falls to the side of it to give it that little sunrise look.
Mm-hmm.
People are so excited to see it and to watch how they do, even down to our sangria. They liked me having something themed to the season. And they show me that by what they buy. So,
Right.
They show you
That's
the money.
awesome.
well, our
You show the
philosophy is who pays our bills.
Right.
And
Right.
that's who we work for. And
Yeah.
we conform, whether it's our food, whether it's our events, that's who we work for. So we theme everything to make them happy because they pay our bills. So
Awesome.
Very good.
Gabriella asks, can you serve alcoholic beverages in a farm to table ticketed event? That sounds a little bit like special use if you're not doing it full time, like those special event permits.
correct.
Yeah.
I would guess
Yeah.
correct, and check
If
with
you're
your local
selling it.
ABC, but
Yeah.
you would have to, I think that, yes, it's gonna be special permit at best. But, what you can do on early stuff that we found until we figured out a way to do alcohol, we might do everything else, but we would let them bring alcohol. So they could bring and do a bottle of wine if you're doing a music thing or whatever. And it kind of got you, you're allowed, brown bag. Or the other thing we found crazy, if you have a local brewery or cidery, a lot of times they have the license needed, and this made me crazy when it was us. They could serve alcohol on my farm, but I could not.
Mhm.
And that sounds insane. However, where they're licensed would be a wet area that they could obtain the necessary license, but you could get alcohol in another way, just to be able to have it, because it is proven like food that it does make people stay at your venue longer.
Yeah.
Well, and see, just like us, it's unfortified wine, no liquor.
Right, that's correct.
So special permitting, and that can be buying, and again, here, we rent space most of the time. We don't have events except for our tasting room that's open all the time. So those people would do one of two things. They would either get that ABC permit themselves, which they have to submit to us in time. We have to review it and that kind of thing, or through their caterer.
Mhm.
You can do that now. And then now there are some companies out there that are your bartenders / we will get these permits and we will bring everything company.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's how we do that. And we have to be very careful. Sometimes we do get spot checked. It's very rare, but it's doable.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we have about a minute left. I want to respect everyone's time. Does anyone have any other questions for our speakers today?
Now, I did have a question of somebody, and who was it?
You asked Beverly her question. Was it her?
I did ask.
Well, thank you all so much for sharing your various experiences with food and beverage on the farm. I know that, when we were planning this call, we were thinking about who is it that we can bring in that'll just give us a whole range from what are those things you're thinking about when you're first starting to I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm still experimenting, I'm still growing. So I really appreciate all of your insights. Sheila, were you gonna ask a question?
Yes, how you all doing? I just have a question for Karla. We're getting ready to have camp out on the farm, and we're gonna have food trucks. So how much should we charge, because we've never done this? How much should we charge the food trucks as a vendor, Karla?
Y'all are going to think we are crazy. We never have, because we wanted them to come and do well. However,
Okay.
you should, because you do have to do, you should. We never have, and we are making a change. It's going to be very small, because most of those people come with their generators and things.
Yes.
And we've just always wanted them, to be exposed to our property, to the other things for sale that we have all of the
Mhm.
time, and for them to do well.
Yes.
So, and we're not the proper ones to ask about that. We don't charge a
Okay.
gate fee here. Most of our events are free to the public. Now, when you get in, there are things you would spend your money for, like the food trucks. If you purchased anything, as Beverly said, you can do a formal, very long wine tasting, but when you step in, the wine tasting is free. So you should charge though. And I'm gonna, I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think more than $25 or $50.
Okay.
Again, I could be wrong. And again, we really want them because we don't have a way
That's
to
right.
offer
Yeah.
food that would
Mhm.
keep people here and be for their enjoyment and that kind of thing. So I'm the wrong person to ask.
Okay.
Well,
Well, and I'll just
any of
add.
our yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll just add real quick to that. We struggled with food trucks and we never tried to charge them anything, but if they found a better gig than us, it'd be the night before and we had already promoted them and they'd be gone. So before we had our own food and beverage operation, we tried the food truck. Where we were the most successful was with nonprofits. So they really respected you, respected your land. They're doing good stuff. So we had, I'm going to defer to Marissa, but I'm going to say at least 3 to 4 years that we brought in nonprofits to provide our protein food source. And
That's
it was their
great.
fundraiser. So it was just like a win-win. But we struggled and I never tried to charge them. They wanted to charge me to come set up. And it was a challenge. So that's my 2 cents on that one.
Yeah. Now, I know what I wanted. One of the easiest ways that I've ever been able to help anybody bring food or beverage to their farm, if they were truly farmers, was during their U-pick season. If it was strawberries, have some strawberry cider chilled. Taste it, you will sell it. If you are a muscadine grower, have some muscadine juice. And that's a really easy way to begin. And if you're a farm who tickets those experiences, those things can be add-ons. Does that make sense? Some people will say that for the strawberry you pick, you can pre-buy the bucket and your experience, and you can add these things on. And that was a very easy way for them to do it. And most people who do that did start with a juice or a cider. That was shelf stable.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for speaking tonight. We had a great crowd here tonight. So thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. This has been recorded, so you will get the recording of this. It'll be emailed out. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Christy, Beverly, Karla, Nikki, Diana.
Yes.
Reach out to them and ask them. This is Agritourism Networking Association, so being able to leverage this network is the strength of the organization. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.